Hello, and welcome to what is essentially a kind of guide and tutorial, but also kind of a showcase as well as to how I download music from my Apple Music library here onto my PlayStation Vita. So, what we basically have to do is, first of all, add the song. So, I've got this song here in Finder that I want to add, so I just basically double click that, and it will, if we go here, it will copy the file across, and as you can see, shows up. Now, this song itself doesn't actually have any, it has a little bit of metadata, but not all of it, so we're just going to go here. And basically what we're going to do is, like a lot of the songs that I get, like some of these, like After Hours, they're just CD rips directly from iTunes, and they just work, perfectly fine. Sometimes you'll need to like manually download album art, and I will show you how to do that here. But some like IA04, I downloaded that from iTunes, and everything was just here. It's got the lossless thing, but it's not actually lossless because it's I pay for Apple Music, but it's not. It's iTunes is not lossless. Anyway, so we're gonna go here, right click, get info, and then we can edit all of the metadata super easily. If you want to use a tool like MP3 tag or Music Brains or like any of those other tools, you can. You just want to use them before you import them into iTunes. Basically, it stores everything in a database, so you've got to make sure that before you import it, you've changed all those details, unless you're going to use iTunes like I am to manually do this. And this is the music app for macOS. Same deal applies there, because they work very similar. So we're going to change our album and album artist to match. And we're going to add our album artwork here. So this one here is what I want. Perfect. So now we just hit OK. Give it a second to think. And then it looks like it doesn't change. If we back out, as you can see, the other thing is now gone. And if we go here, 10 songs, underneath the echoes is now highlighted. And it's here. Now, it has a little cloud symbol there. That's just because I pay for Apple Music and uploads all of that music to the cloud for me. So that will happen at some stage, but for the sake of the Vita, we don't care about that. That's just simply that. The one last thing we have to do is with album art in particular. iTunes, when you add it, or Apple Music for that matter, when you add it, it doesn't add it to the file itself. It adds it to the database within Apple Music. So in order to fix this, you've got to basically download and install a script called Re-Embed Artwork. Just click on that with the song or songs that you want selected. By the way, you can also edit multiple details as well. As you can see, it says, you can keep using this there, remind me later. It's going to re-embed the artwork of the song. As you can see, that's now done. Everything looks the same here, but it just makes it a bit easier for our Vita to do everything. Now that that's done and we've added this song, what we've got to do now is hop over to the PlayStation Vita. So now that we are on the Vita, what we basically need to do is there's a special app that Sony released that we can actually use to connect. So if we go down here into my media apps folder, and we've got this one called Network Media Player. Now this was released by Sony in both the EUR and Asian regions. It is not released in the US, so you will need to find a way to download that if you are in the US. Now, the way that this all works and the way that we can use this, as you can see, it literally just pops up here. We can hit music, audio, albums. I'm just going to go here to make it a bit easier to scroll. As you can see, all of these just kind of show up here. I'm just going to scroll down and see if I can try and find the music we just added. So, Patreon extras. And if we go in here, there it is underneath the echoes. We can hit copy to memory card, hit copy, and hit copy. And as you can see, it is copying that to the memory card. Yeah. If you're wondering, like, how did you, like, just kind of connect this all together, and how does your Vita see, that you added the music? Like, all of the music that I've got on this Mac here is here. So if I go into the Mac, and I go, let's say I go to, I've already downloaded a lot of this onto my Mac as well. I haven't downloaded these two songs actually, so, oh gosh, I don't even know what that shows up as. Let's do that though. So if we go to the PS Vita, I don't know what that shows up as. That might be down the very bottom, and there's like 3,000, there's like 4,000 tracks here. So, guess we're just gonna have to wait for this to scroll down to the very bottom. I've just got like a lot of Nightcore here that just doesn't show up in the Apple Music library, but you can put other music here as well. It's super cool. I think that's it there. There they are. Sweet. So now we can hit copy to memory card, select the 2 songs, and hit copy. And it's going to copy them over. So if you're wondering like how this works, how do I get my PS Vita to see this? Well, the way that this all works is that the Apple Music library, there is a few ways to do this particular method. I've just gone about it one particular way. The Apple Music library itself is actually hosted on a Raspberry Pi. So my Mac connects via specifically a LAN connection to the Raspberry Pi in order to see the music library. And then what that Raspberry Pi also does is it hosts what is called a DLNA, sometimes also referred to as a UPnP media server. Now the network media app that Sony has here is actually built to just connect to those servers, and the PS3 has this functionality built in as well, so you can use that too, which is really cool. So basically you want to have a DLNA media server that is pointing to your media. Now you can actually just, on Windows, it has a built-in tool to just host that on the network, and it will just upload pretty much any music that's in your music library. Works alright. But the reason that I decided to use a Raspberry Pi and I've done a bit more work is because A, it means my Mac doesn't have to be online if I want to download music to my Vita or PS TV or PS3. And B, it also means that I can do a bit extra cool stuff. So what it means is that any music file that is in the Apple Music library, regardless of file format, will work. So like these files here, as you can see, it goes to like 40% and then like stays there for a while and then like slowly goes across. The reason for that is because these files are actually not something the Vita natively supports. Well, kind of. In theory it should, but it's actually like the Vita supports, I think, like MP3 and like WMA or WAV files, and that's about it in the music player. It does support AAC, but not in the way that you would expect. It only supports AAC in video files, not audio. So if we jump back to the Mac here, you can see that it says it's a purchased AAC audio file, which means the Vita, if you just plonk that on, Content Manager, it's not going to see it. If you plonk it on a PS3, the PS3 will be able to copy that. Basically, any file the PS3 can play back, you should be able to just copy to a Vita, and the PS3 has more compatibility. So that's another way. Copy your media to a PS3. If it can play it back, you can copy it to a Vita, which is really weird, really cool. But, if we go back here to, as you can see, 2 out of 2 items have been copied. And now, if we jump across into the music app, it's going to just refresh the database briefly because I was using it on my PS Vita, and this is the PS TV, and it just wants to, check that it's all correct. But that is basically the gist of adding songs to the PlayStation Vita or PS TV or PS3. The PS3 works in the exact same manner as well, which is super cool. So just gotta wait for this to update. This only, by the way, if you're wondering like when you need to rebuild a database, basically it's only when the system detects that that specific database has been touched, like read or modified by another system. So because I was using this in my PS Vita last night, it had to update. But now if we go to albums, if we go to Patreon extras, we will have that song in here. So underneath the echoes is right there. And we can even like play that back as well. Like if I unmute the Vita's output, it will actually play back. Maybe. Oh yeah, it's playing back. I just can't hear it. But then if we also go to say, where is it? Okay, it's put these in unknown because it can't read the like the metadata for it, because it's just all in like weird katakana shit. I don't know why it's like failed. Yeah, okay. I can see that because like all of the characters are like Chinese. And while the Vita does support Unicode, I wouldn't, I guess, expect it to be able to read that properly. So, alright. So, like, as you can see, the file that I put there works. Just to confirm that it is all good, I will also go and add, like, something else to the Vita as well, just to confirm that it all works. Do you want to get... Oh, wait. Oh, I hit copy. That's... It's like, why is it taking so long? Of course it's going to take forever. No, I don't want to copy. I want to delete. Delete. So if we go here, delete, delete. And then if we go back to the thing here. So, just to confirm, I'm guessing it's just some weird issue with the way that it's in weird Chinese. But there's something I can download. So I don't know, download. I'm so tired. This was purchased from iTunes as well. So if we go to get info file, it says purchased AAC audio file. So the exact same type of file. If we go onto here, can we just make it go to the top of the list? Nope. Yeah, so this is literally just all Nightcore. That's just in a random folder. But I have it scan it so that I can... It's not the end of the world if I have to like go through and scroll all of this way. So we're looking for I'm So Tired in this list. H. I think I just died. I told you. I'm so tired. There it is. So there it is there. We hit copy to memory card. Copy. It's going to copy that AAC audio file to the memory card. And then we should be fine. And yeah, this will work for any file that... Literally any file. So Apple Music only supports like set files, which is why I'm using ALAC, which stands for Apple Lossless Audio Codec, why I'm using AAC. There's also some MP3s in there as well, but it doesn't support FLAC. That being said, if I was to manually just put a FLAC where this media server can see it, it would work, no worries, on the PS Vita. Because basically what will happen is the basic... That's why... Hold on. I think I just realized why the other file wasn't working. And that might also mean that this file that I just added wasn't working. Also, I just refreshed it because I think I know exactly why. If I go to here, it's going to say it's corrupted. Yep. I know exactly what's going on. So, happy to explain this literally on video. So, the reason that it is not working is because of a very simple fact that the PlayStation Vita... So, as I said, I've got a media server that transcodes everything, right? It needs to know what to transcode everything to. So we need to sort that out. So, basically, it goes off of, like, the details of whatever it is. So I need to basically go and tell my router to set a bloody static IP address to the PSTV. Because basically what's happening is is it's not transcoding properly, which is causing issues. Because as I said, it will not play back AAC. But I'm happy to have this on the video. So in order to do this, man, I need to just like expose details of my Vita. Basically, what we're gonna have to do, I'll flick it over here, is in here. So this is the media server thing. We go to status. We can see all the different devices, all the different IPs. As you can see, there's a lot of PlayStation 3s. There's only like 2, but it just keeps, every time there's a different IP address, it will just kind of keep assigning something. That's TV. I'm trying to see if I could even like spot the PSTV in this list, but I can't. That's fine. Let me just do that. That's annoying, because I can't see the MAC address of this. What I can do is check the IP. If we go to Vita show. Yeah, putting troubleshooting on a video, that's amazing. Okay, so if I go to select, as you can see, 1.125 is our IP address, and that will change. That is not the permanent IP address. But what that means is if I go in here, I can reserve an address. So if I pop in the MAC address of that, which I am not going to expose on here. I mean, I don't think there's a whole heap that you can do with my MAC address of this thing. Like, it's a bloody MAC address. C4. Oh shit! Oh my god, this thing is so annoying. And I'm going to reserve its own address to be existent. I actually don't know what I've reserved as that, but whatever. I'm guessing. So I'm going to do... Save. Okay, now, if I go and... Oh, that's interesting. You can't actually disable Wi-Fi from the quick settings on a PSTV, but you can do it on a thing. So if we go network, internet connection settings, and then, yeah, we have this super cool network. There we go. So we're just going to connect to the Wi-Fi network. Here we go, cool. And now if we go into Vita shell, yeah, we have a new IP. So now, if we go to our Servio console, and device name. Basically, if I go back here, we're just gonna set a new thing. So it already says that there's a PlayStation 3 in in this IP address. But it's not a PS3. It's just saying that because there was a PS3 at one point using that IP address, and I was like, okay, well, what's this? So the way that I do this is I just set the profile to Xbox 360. I could make a custom profile for it, and that would probably work a little bit better. The reason I haven't is just simply because I couldn't be bothered, and the Xbox 360 profile actually works super well. So now that we've done that, and we've set that, so now if we go find it in this list, 1.13 here. It's set to the Xbox 360 profile, and I've set the name to PlayStation TV. So now, if I go onto my PS Vita, for the final time, if we actually go in here, everything should work now. So now, basically, I've just told the server that, hey, this is an Xbox 360, and I want you to transcode media for an Xbox 360. and it just so happens that anything seemingly that this media server will transcode for an Xbox 360 also just so happens to work with a PS TV or PS Vita. So now if we scroll down and grab the Chinese new songs that I purchased on iTunes, they will work. That's why. I was like going, why isn't this working? But yeah, obviously that's why. So as you can see, here they are. If we hit copy. Also, you can just play them back here as well. So that is a thing you can do. They are longer than that. I don't know. Hopefully it's transcoding properly. Oh, it's not transcoding properly. You know what would be helpful is if I saved that config. There we go. So now if we try and play that back, as you can see, it actually now doesn't even have a thing at the end of it because it's going to transcode it. So it doesn't have like how long is left or how long the actual song is. Now we can copy. Now it's actually going to copy properly. I forgot to hit save on the server. But now it's actually going to work properly. So if I grab those two songs, they are actually going to work. Show up properly, and it should actually transcode them a bit faster now too, or copy them faster. This 40% part may take a bit longer because it has to transcode the file, but then the actual like copying, is going a lot quicker across. Happy I finally resolved that. And that can be on the video for everyone to see. So yeah, would I recommend doing this? I mean, maybe if you're like really serious about PS Vita music playback for some reason, then I guess it makes some sense to do this. But for most people, no, this does not make a lot of sense. Maybe running like a local Windows media server and having all of your files in pointed in that server be already Vita compatible, that would make a bit of sense, because this is actually like a super easy way if your files are either being transcoded, which takes a bit of time to set up properly, as you can see, or if your files are already Vita compatible. This is a really easy way. You don't have to deal with connection issues really. So now if we go down to the very bottom, oh, look at that. It's all formatted. We've got our album art here. And if we hit play, it plays back and it works properly, which is super good. So that's, so we just got a file that wasn't even Vita compatible, as you saw, because we copied it without transcoding. And it was like, nah. Well, I think it may have transcoded, but it was transcoding for a PS3, not a PS TV, which supports less stuff. But as I said, if you copy to a PS3 and then to a PS Vita, that will work. As I said, AAC works on PS3, but not PS Vita, technically. It's super confusing. Just if the software here that I'm using, FYI, is called Servio. But otherwise, what you will need to do in order to work out what you can and can't play back is go onto the operations manual for the Vita. And it'll actually tell you right here what it can and can't play back. So as you can see, types of files you can listen to. And it says MP3, MP4, WAV. And as you can see, it says AAC there, but AAC doesn't work unless it goes through a PS3 first, which is super stupid. Or you can do WAV, linear PC. It's so stupid what it can support. Also, it says that you can only have up to 4,000 songs. And it also says it supports playlists as well. So this is, by the way, how you add playlists. The other way you can add playlists that I will quickly, briefly show you, it's not technically officially like, how do you add playlists? It is instead just use iTunes or some other music managing program, like I've done here, to make an album that is your playlist. So if you just assign the metadata of all of these, so if I go and hit get info on all the songs that I want to make a playlist, and make sure that, you know, you've got the album and album artist as the same thing, then that means that on the PS Vita, you can actually just kind of use the album browser, go to, you know, the album, and all the songs will just be in the one place, and you can shuffle them, do whatever. So that's the other way to do album support. I think that's mostly it though. So that is how you add songs to a PlayStation Vita or PlayStation TV or PlayStation 3 as well, or PlayStation 4, as long as the files are, you know, compatible, and or you're using media transcoding that works properly. But that is, yeah, how you do video or audio, get audio from your Mac or Windows PC. This does work on Windows too, by the way. As I said, this library is not being hosted on my Mac. It's being hosted on a Raspberry Pi. So you can actually host a server like this on a Windows computer, on a Mac computer, on a Linux computer, on pretty much whatever. And you shouldn't have too many problems with that. I think that's about it. Thank you for watching, I guess. Yeah.